Good morning. You're listening to Insurance Matchmaking, your path to health, life, and Medicare coverage with Matt Libby Insurance. And now, sharing his knowledge, here's your host, Matt Libby.
Good morning and welcome back to Insurance Matchmaking. Got a guest today, kind of under protest. If you've called into my office at all, you've probably talked to Bree in giving her, I've used this title already, but I'm going to officially mark it here as she is now the office manager. Bree, she's giggling over here. But Bree started with me just a little over a year ago, back in October, just before the enrollment season. And it was like, I need somebody to answer phones, set appointments, and keep up with, following up with my clients because I got to do everything else this time of year. So kind of threw her to the wolves there.
A little bit.
A little bit. But so anyway, Bree started at my office as like I said, as basically the office receptionist, and decided that, that maybe being an insurance agent might not be a bad career move. So we just, so I helped her get the training, get licensed, and so she's gone through that. And now we're in the enrollment season. We're really busy. Mm-hmm. And it's really tough just keeping up with the clients. So we have hired a third person in the office, Ms. Kalia. So she's at the office now. So we still have somebody at the office while we're doing this radio show. But and Bree's waiting for me to ask some of the questions I wanted to ask her. You had a couple of other jobs. You did like a call center, customer mm-hmm. service for a pet supply. You've worked at Tractor Supply. Mm-hmm. You've done some. What job do you feel best prepared you for this job?
Definitely the customer service side. I mean, that's the main part. I mean, yeah, you have to sell, but you also have to take care of your clients afterwards.
Right.
So that's probably the biggest help is just knowing how to take care of your clients, knowing how to interact with them.
Right. And that's one thing. She mentioned the customer service. That's one of the things I really appreciate about her. That's probably my least favorite thing in my job. It's not that I don't mind talking to my clients. Mm-hmm. It's doing that other avenue of customer service of contacting the insurance company on their behalf, which is one of the things we sell ourselves on as you have a local agent. We're going to go to bat to you. We're going to get the answers to your questions. And this week, we had two clients that same company. Well, the company can remain nameless, but both of them did plans that their plan started on the 1st of November, mm-hmm. but we did their applications close to the end of the month, so they don't have their cards yet. Both of them needed services, and I was tied up in appointments that morning. I was like, hey, can you go ahead and get a hold of the carrier and get that stuff? And she got done, and I was like, I'm just so glad you did that.
Well, it takes the work off of you, and I mean, that's what you hired me for, right? No.
Right. Yeah. That's what I love is her attitude on that. And but and you say that, but like I said, kind of in the interview, I think I hinted at, I don't know, or even kind of laid out that, hey, you might want to become an insurance mm-hmm. agent. You don't have to if you're happy just being the person who answers the phones and greets the clients when they come in. That's fine with me. But what kind of, I don't know if say changed your mind, or maybe what convinced you that, hey, this can be more than just a job.
Right.
It could be a career, and I say this, and you can hear, people always think I'm younger than I am, but, Bree is young. She's one of those millennials. So, you got this old fart over here that's been doing all kinds of things for years, but, what stuck out to you that, hey, this could be a good career move?
Well, I've always kind of struggled with knowing what to do with my life. And I think that's a millennial thing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, so I started out as your receptionist. I was perfectly content with it. But it just kind of clicked that, hey, this can be your career move. You don't have to go through another round of schooling, or, I mean, you do have to go through the licensing, but that's, but I mean, it's...
You don't have to go sit in a classroom for,
exactly.
6 hours a day.
Right, yeah, and which was a struggle for me, not just sitting, but just the school environment and stuff. But I really love helping people, and that was another thing that, hey, I could go to school to help, I don't know, therapy or something. Mm-hmm. But I've found listening to you, the elder in the room, that you really do help people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I really wanted to do. And I think I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
I think just within the start of open enrollment, getting, my feet wet, basically,
Yeah.
that I'm learning that I'm helping people with knowledge that they don't understand about ACA plans or Medicare that kind of makes me feel good about myself.
Right.
So
it's been very helpful. And like I said, we knew we were going to be really busy. This is our busy
Yes.
time of the year, and that we're going to need somebody else to help out. Just at the minimum, answering the phone, setting the appointments, and it just worked out that Kalia already has her health and life insurance
Right.
license. She was working for another company, kind of doing telesales type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I think just kind of our family atmosphere of that. I think she's going to stick around and be a permanent agent, and which maybe after the first of the year we'll be looking for somebody else to be the receptionist, because we'll all be. So my agency's building. That's what I'm enjoying.
That's exciting. Yes.
I've been an insurance agent since 2013, and one time this is one of those times I'll kind of say a company. I started out with Aflac doing knocking on business doors, trying to set up those groups, and it just wasn't the right niche for me. But I learned a lot in that, and then I became a broker for mainly kind of starting out with the ACA stuff, and then in branching into doing the Medicare. And I've been doing that since 2014, but just went independent last March, and then this past January formed my LLC, so I officially am an insurance agency, not just an agent. Bree is also, as I said, is a licensed agent. She's gone through the certifications for the healthcare marketplace, done what we call the AHIP, is the annual test we have to take to certify to be able to offer the Medicare Advantage and the Part D drug plans. And then along with that, you have to go through carrier certification. So those little steps. And we get to do that every year.
Every year. It's like Christmas in July.
Yeah. So the good news was we went ahead and got that done, I don't know, around September, I guess. Mm-hmm. And you were able, because once you did the certification for 2014, it starts immediately. So she's been certified, could offer plans to people this year. Did I say 2014?
You said 2014.
2024. There's a 4 there.
There was a 4. I'll give you that.
So she's ready for 2024, and then but if somebody, because we do get people with special enrollments, we also have what they call 5-star plans. In those 5-star plans with the Medicare Advantage, we're in the annual election period now, but they don't have to wait to January for their plan to change. If they really want that plan, back when we did it in October, we could get it in November. We can't backdate those, but even if it's the last day of the month, it can start the first of the following month. So we still have some opportunities that somebody could change their plan and have it changed for December. We get people calling or send us a copy of a letter from their doctor saying, "Hey, we're not going to take this plan in January." Those are ones we can help. The good news is, after the first of the year, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, that first 3 months of the year is called the Medicare Advantage open enrollment, and we can find you another Advantage plan, or you can maybe change and go to a Medicare supplement, change to get a separate Part D. We can do that one time during that 3 months and change plan. You can't change for February and then change again for March unless you have other special enrollment options. But we can't advertise that during that time period. So that's why I kind of stress talking about it now. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan, it's not as critical to get that done before December 7th as some of the commercials in the mail you're getting make it sound. Right. Because you do have that 3 months, you could still change plans. It's very critical if you have a Part D drug plan and want to see if maybe there's a better option, because what's one of the things you found that, you've heard me talk about this, that's unique about the Part D plans for this coming year?
Definitely the prices. The prices have been changing, and so is, well, I don't know if we want to talk about the
can't say the names.
No, I was going to say the donut hole has now changed, or the...
Yeah, so that's a change.
So that is a change.
That's a change that came about from the Inflation Reduction Act. So that makes some changes. Mm-hmm. but a lot of the plans, their premiums have gone up. Mm-hmm. Some of them are changing the way. A lot of people, if you're familiar with, if you had what we call a Tier 3, a brand name drug, and those are the ones that usually push you into the donut hole. As I like to say to my clients, if you see it advertised on TV, expect to hit that coverage gap or the so-called donut hole. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, so a lot of the plans went up in their premiums. There's one that drastically dropped their premiums. And what's that premium for that plan?
It's 50 cents.
Believe it or not, folks, yes, 50 cents a month. It's not going to be the right plan for everybody.
Right.
And it kind of goes against what I usually say in my Medicare 101 workshops. And I'll say, don't pick your drug plan just based on the premium, because it can come back to bite you.
Right.
If you take the lowest premium, because, well, why would I pay more? It really has a lot more to do with how it covers your drugs. The unique thing was I met with a client this past week. She has one, and I guess I can say the name of the drug because you don't know who she is, but she takes a drug called Humira. And if you're familiar with that, you're going to know it's very, very expensive. And that drug is so expensive that in February she's gone through the first 3 stages of the coverage gap and goes into the catastrophic phase. Well, one of the neat things for 2024 is there used to be a 5% charge on your drugs even when you hit that 4th stage. There never was, there was never a maximum out of pocket for drugs. So it's not a fixed amount, so it's going to vary for some people. So we can't say that there's a fixed max out of pocket for prescriptions for 2024. But once you hit that coverage gap, you don't have that 5%. It actually, when I was putting it in her drug, it recommended for her to get that 50-cent plan because her drug's so expensive. She hits that catastrophic cap in February, and so now she's only paying 50 cents a month for her premium. So it actually would cost her less. Now, that's a unique case. Most of the time, it's going to make a lot of difference between, $100 to $1,500 over the year. And so usually if you have that kind of a gap because you have a lot of prescriptions, that 50-cent plan is not going to be the right plan for you. Mm-hmm. In fact, there's a drug plan out there, and I can't remember if it's the highest, but there's one. It's $104 is the monthly premium. You're like, why is a drug plan so high when I hear all about all these zero premium advantage plans?
Oh.
So that's a whole nother story. But
right.
Sometimes that's the right plan for people because then you don't have a deductible. And then in some of these plans, so a lot of times I've had like between $50 and $70 plans actually make sense for a lot of people, especially if they have those brand names, because they're going to hit that deductible, have to pay that deductible before they are paying like a $40-some copay. So when they do that, maybe they take a higher premium plan, and their copay is usually lower, a little bit lower than that than after the deductible. And so it's kind of like you're prepaying the deductible, but it spreads it out, and so it's not a big hit when they go to the pharmacy to fill that prescription. So what do you say, Bree, is maybe I know. She's sitting over here. I've been gabbing away, and she's ready. Actually, I just looked at the time. We're coming up on a commercial break. So, but we're gonna cover some more with Bree here as soon as we come back and see if we can get to know Bree a little better here instead of just listening to me.
Looking to do some remodeling? Just getting organized? Consider donating your extra household goods and materials to the Habitat Restore. Not only will you be supporting your local community, but all donations are tax deductible. Our inventory is constantly changing. Our prices are well below retail, as well as one-of-a-kind items. Every day's another opportunity for a new deal at Habitat Restore. Pay us a visit at our new location at 560 South Jefferson Avenue, or visit our website at uchabitat.org.
Families of the Putnam County School System, do you need help with food? Student Services can help. Student Services is a resource to families of the Putnam County School System to help meet their children's physical, emotional, and social needs. That includes helping families with groceries so students' bellies are full and ready to learn. Want to donate food? Student Services accepts any shelf-stable food and freezer foods that can be served for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks too. To learn how Student Services can help your family, call 931-525-4707. This message is brought to you by the Putnam County School System Student Services. Engage, inspire, achieve.
And now, back to Insurance Matchmaking with Matt Libby Insurance.
All right, and we're back to Insurance Matchmaking with my office manager, Bree Atkinson.
Hello.
And she's kind of doing the deer in the headlights thing with me because I'm telling her I'm going to ask her some questions. She's not really sure she's ready to answer them, but hopefully I don't have to think too hard on this, but in your your past year experience, what was the most unique thing you learned this year about insurance?
That it is chaotic. There's so many different things. I mean, with, everybody says, oh, well, I can't afford insurance. It's so expensive. But people don't understand that there's help out there,
right?
Like us. I mean, so, and I was in the same boat. I knew nothing about insurance, whether it be Medicare or healthcare, and there's so many unique things to list, though. So I'm just going to give you air.
Well, well, one of the things that I feel has worked well. It's and we talk about in the insurance business of being a product of our product. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things I've noticed is sometimes when you're talking to people that the plan that I helped you pick out for you,
right?
And you've shared with loved ones, and
yes.
But also the fact of when people are talking about you saying, "Hey, this has worked for me. This doctor worked." Tell us a little bit about that process or how that's worked for you.
Right. So I actually didn't have insurance, and so you helped me in the beginning of my lessons and got me an insurance plan, and so now when people ask, I can say, "Hey, this is what's worked for me. There's, here's the pros, here's the cons."
Mm-hmm.
And I can give them that because I've been on it. I've put other people on it. My husband's on it. And I can say, well, this doctor takes it. That doctor takes it. You'll be fine here at this imaging center. And it's helped in sales because I'm familiar with it.
Right.
So, and I can weed out what people need.
Right. And that's one of the things I stress that, that's one of the things that you benefit from us. We do our Medicare 101 workshops, and one of the slides on that is it's like you're going to the Medicare.gov website to look at the Medicare Advantage plans, and then we just let the thing scroll.
Yeah.
And there's just tons of plans on there. It's like, I think currently they're saying there's going to be 48 plans available. It's like, that's a lot of plans to sort through to figure out what works. And one of the things you gain with working with a local agent, doesn't have to be us, but if you don't talk to a local agent, what don't you do, Bree?
Don't talk to Joe.
Don't call Joe. She's probably heard that way more times than she wants to, but
just a little. But I won't hold it against you because it's a good phrase.
I actually was thinking that as I was prepared for the show. I said, you know what? I think what we need to do is we need to come up with a insurance matchmaking bingo. Yeah, and have people print out their bingo sheet, and then listen to the show, and maybe over multiple shows, and you have to mark what day the show was, or and when you feel that, you can win a prize of the things that I say over and over.
Over and over, yeah. Oh, Matt, that just sounds like more work for me in the office.
Oh, it could be. Well, maybe you can make Kalia do it.
Oh, hey, there we go. Kalia, if you're listening. We have a new job for you.
Yeah. So that, as I said, that's one of the benefits of having somebody else. This is office hours when we're recording this show. So the good news is there's still somebody in the office, and that's one of the things I've wanted to have Bree on here since I started the show back in June, I think it was. I started doing the show here, and that I got to get you on the show one day. And actually, what worked out today was I had somebody scheduled, and I have to reschedule that person. I said, hey, I've got this opening. Let's go ahead and do it. And we've got help in the office, and we'll knock it out. So we're going to cover that. And believe it or not, we're gonna do 2 shows today. So it'll be a little bit later because the Thanksgiving week I won't be recording that week. So we're going to go ahead and knock out the show. And believe it or not, we're 2/3 of the way through this show, Bree, so there's plenty of time to do another show here before we leave today.
Yay.
But I have my different catchphrases, and it's just they work, and they're corny. But if you hadn't heard it before, they sound so profound.
It sticks. It sticks with most people because most people that go to your workshop, I say yours, but it's really ours.
Yeah.
They come into the office and they remember, if not all of the saying, they at least remember some.
Yeah.
And even they have all those people that call in, and some of the people that have called for open enrollment this year have said, I have so many people calling me. But I just remember, and I tell them, Matt's my agent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people do kind of, it sinks in with
Right.
people when you have slogans or you, have sayings that you have. So.
And that goes back, and again, that touches back on that customer service that, Bree mentioned in the beginning, is they know and they've got a question, they've got a problem, we're going to do our best to take care of it. It might not be today, but we're going to get to it as soon as we can. My general rule kind of for me is within 24 business hours, you'll hear from me. And I say that 24 business hours because, if you call and leave a message at 2 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, it's probably going to be sometime Monday before we get back to you.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what number you have for me. A lot of people have, I still list it as my cell number, but that was the only number I had when I started in the business. So they have that number. That's what they have programmed in their phone or whatever. That number still works. I use a voice-over internet system called Ring Central. So any number you've ever had for me, you're going to reach me. You can send a text to that number. You can leave a voicemail. And one of the big things we ask is if you leave a message, don't just say, call me back.
Right.
I'm going to probably call you back if you leave a message. But it really helps us if you can tell us what the issue is you're calling about. Because sometimes there's some research involved in there, and it saves both of us a lot of time if I know what your question is or what you need help on, and I may be calling you back with the answer.
Right.
So that helps a lot, because if we got to call you back, and we play phone tag, trying to figure out what your question was, and then now we have to go to the carrier or whatever to ask, to get the answer. If you tell us what the issue is, a lot of times when we call you back, we've already got your answer ready for you. So, and please leave a voicemail when you call, so we know, because sometimes the name doesn't show on the caller ID, and we get tons of calls that aren't real calls too.
Mm-hmm. Google.
Yeah,
Thank you.
They're constantly Google your business, get your listing. It's funny, they don't call me I don't get too many of the, hey, you need to sign up for Medicare, but it's been a while since I got the car warranty one. It's mostly, can Google find your business?
Oh, goodness, yeah. Google, y'all are really
and they
doing
use
some
local numbers. They'll use, and it doesn't say local numbers,
yeah.
but they'll call with a Tennessee area code, thinking that, we're going to answer. That's got to be somebody local.
Oh, just yesterday, it come up with a name.
Yeah, I've seen some come up with a name now.
It's using names now, so
because they're spoofing people's numbers.
Yes. And
actually, and what's happened? I've had, and you've got the call too, where they're like, people will call and say, "Stop calling me, stop texting me." And it's like, it wasn't us.
It wasn't us. Yeah.
But it was our number.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we can't control that. Actually, this weekend, my daughter sent me a screenshot, and she's like, "Did you start a new Instagram?"
No.
Yeah, and somebody actually, they cloned my Instagram and just kind of split my name, put a dot in the middle of it, took a few of my pictures, and started following people. It's like, and that's one of those things. It doesn't. Changing passwords doesn't help on that, because all they did was they took some of the photos that are published and cloned and made it look like me, but they were reaching out to people I know.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, that's not me. I don't have a new Instagram. I don't do a lot on Instagram, but I watch other people's reels and things like that. I'm not posting a lot on Instagram. So it's like, yeah, they're just, but you can't stop them.
You can't. And I really hope that people understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that we can do is block them, or the only thing that you can do is block them as well.
Yep.
So just don't block our number.
Do you want to share about what some of the challenges we're facing this enrollment season that we're having to jump through?
Yes. So this year, CMS, or the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, they are really starting to crack down on some different things. We now have to have a scope of appointment for anyone who wants to talk about their Medicare plans, whether it be Medicare Advantage or prescription drug. We go ahead and get one for if you want to talk about your supplement plan, just so that we're covered in case something comes up. But we have to have that signed, and then we have to wait 48 hours till we are able to schedule an appointment with you. On the healthcare side, we are now required to get written consent to be able to help you in the marketplace. There's no waiting period as long as we have that signed on that one. But for the Medicare side, it's really caused some challenges.
Right.
So
and one of the other things, and this started last year, that that I have to record my sales presentations. And the thing is, it sounds like a really simple question, and it's a ridiculous requirement, I feel, with my existing clients. But they want to go, hey, do I still have the best plan? Do I still need to just keep the plan I have? For me to answer that question, that is officially a sales presentation.
Right.
And I have to record those, and as like Bree said, I have to have that scope of appointment permission 48 hours prior to giving it. Now, we do have an exemption on that. Is if you come to the office, we can count you as a walk-in. But we still have to do that form. And if you remember, if you've been in the office a couple of times, like, oh yeah, I have to have you sign this form before I present anything to you. And we did that before. When I first started in the business, we had to have the 48 hours. So it's not totally new to me, but we haven't had to do it for several years, and it's kind of difficult getting back into that. The other thing, it's kind of a good problem to have, but when I was just me and I had a few clients, and most of the time, so I was the one who answered the phone when they called. They'd ask their questions for me, and they got that immediate service. We are growing,
Yes.
I'm usually, especially this time of year when you're calling, I'm usually talking to somebody else. I'm sitting down with someone else. Yeah. So when either of the young ladies answer the phone, and like I said, if they're both on the phone rings and I don't have something from me, I'm going to answer the phone. We're going to try to catch everybody's calls, but they're asking you to do those things. The other thing we're doing, we use a program called JotForm. It's an app, nice link. You just go to the link, and it prompts you to fill in the information, and then when you hit submit, it submits it to us as a PDF. So we have a nice, neat record of, what prescriptions are you taking? What doctors do you see? And that helps us a lot, especially on the Medicare side. On the health insurance side, we need to know how many people are in the family. We need to know what the family income is, who in the family is getting insurance, who's not. Because a lot of times, the spouse has insurance through their work. The kids might already be on TennCare or CHIP based on income, or we've got all the blended families today. Some kids are covered by the other parent, but we still need to know if they live in a household and who's claiming them as a dependent. So those are all those, as I say, moving parts that we really need to get that information. And that's why when Bree or Khalil are saying, hey, yes, there's some things we need you to do. I can schedule an appointment, but here's some things we have to get before, Matt has time to talk to you. And we're not trying to be rude. They're not obviously not being rude. I'm not trying to be rude saying, hey, and they say, hey, let me book a time. Well, just have him call me when he's got time. It's like,
there is no time.
That's why we want to book the time, because even if it's just to do a 10, 15-minute phone call, I've got that time set aside for you. Right. Because calling you when I can get to you, I end up, it's usually in the evenings. It's like, if you call during the day, if you want me to call, I can't normally call you back today during like from 9 to 5. It's going to be after 5, because that's when I finally get, and I say after 5, when I get done with that last appointment. The one I was working with the other evening I talked about the Humira. We got done at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's not, and so sometimes I'll just text and say, hey, I'm getting back to you, and then we'll go from there. And looks like it's time to break this show, so don't forget, insurancematchmaking.com, and then you'll hear from Bree and I again, maybe not the next week, but within the next couple of weeks, you'll hear the second half of this show.
Thanks for tuning in to Insurance Matchmaking, your path to health, life, and Medicare coverage with Matt Libby Insurance.